we might want to recap what is a transfer function all about. So transfer function is basically a ratio between the output upon input variables, and the general description of a transfer function is given by this equation 2.1. And we can also represent this transfer function in terms of block, which given by this block diagram representation. So this is known as block diagram representation, right? And the block diagram representation, the transfer function come from the block diagram, normally expressed in 2.2, and we will look in further detail of how the transfer function is obtained from a block diagram. And then equation 2.3 is a more simplified version of transfer function, and this expression is in terms of polynomial, and most of the time when we are dealing with transfer function, we classify the transfer function based on this order, type, and also rank. The order is about the highest power factor in denominator part of the transfer function, which basically located on this part. Okay, so on this part, right? So we would like to know what is the number of n. So if we know the number of n, then we can describe the order of the transfer function. And then we have a definition of type and also rank. And the most important characteristic, or the most important point in transfer function is the characteristic equation, because this characteristic equation can describe the behavior of the system that we are dealing with. So the characteristic equation is defined as the denominator of the transfer function as we equate with 0, right? So this characteristic equation is given by this equation 2.4. So this equation 2.4 can tell us about the behavior, also the stability of the system, whether the system will converge or not converge when we apply a certain input to the system.